Molly McNerney, Jimmy Kimmel's wife and head writer, went public on this topic recently, so I feel it's fair to comment respectfully in public. She says she's lost relationships with relatives because she wrote them an email before the election with 10 reasons why they shouldn't vote for Trump. And some still didn't obey. So, 10 reasons. I can think of 100. But I would never present it to someone as an ultimatum. Ultimatums don't make people rethink their politics. They make them rethink you.
I want to take you back to something that perfectly captures the absurd political energy we're living in right now. Recently, Molly McNerney, Jimmy Kimmel's wife and his head writer, went public about losing relationships with relatives because she emailed them a top 10 reasons you shouldn't vote for Trump list before the election, and some of them didn't obey. That's her word, not mine. Honestly, that single story sums up exactly what's gone wrong in America's political culture. But before we dig into that pile of chaos, do me a favor. If you're already nodding your head because you've seen this happen in your own life, hit that like button and subscribe. It helps the channel more than you know. Now, Molly's email is just one example of a much bigger issue Bill Maher has been hammering lately. This almost religious urge on the left to police how everyone around them thinks, votes, and breathes. And Maher, who's been a Democrat his entire adult life, is officially over it. He sees the left's obsession with fixing Trump voters as not only arrogant but counterproductive. Honestly, he's right, because nothing makes someone rethink their political beliefs less than being told they're immoral, ignorant, or just plain wrong for having them. Ultimatums don't convert people. They just make people rethink you. Music, and Maher laid all of this out during what might be one of his sharpest monologues in years. He started with Thanksgiving, a holiday that used to be about football, overeating, and unspoken family tension. Nothing political, the classics. But now it's turned into, sorry, Aunt Carol, you're not invited because your bumper sticker doesn't pass the vibe check. And Maher calls it what it is, childish. He says politics has broken up more families today than letting your spouse see your phone. And look, tell me that doesn't hit just a little too close.
Happy Thanksgiving. I can't believe that even that now is a political issue. It is a real shame what's happened to this holiday. It used to be all about the good F's: food, friends, family, football, fun. And now it's you. You're not even invited because you voted for the wrong person. I'm so tired of liberals ghosting half this country. Conservatives do it too, but not nearly as much. Look, whoever's doing it, it's got to stop, because we're at a point now where politics has broken up more families than letting your wife see your phone.
Here's the deeper problem, though. The divide in America isn't just political anymore, it's personal. People don't just disagree, they exile, ghost, and blacklist. And that behavior has become especially popular among the loudest corners of the left, who frame it as moral purity. They call it going no contact, which sounds less like political activism and more like breakup advice from a TikTok therapist. But Maher breaks this down perfectly. He says there are now two types of liberals: the ones who still believe in talking to people and the ones who treat Trump voters like Scientologists treat suppressive people, dangerous, untouchable, and morally contagious. And here's the kicker: the louder group is the one cutting off family members, writing self-righteous op-eds, and policing who's allowed to speak at the dinner table. David Litt, a former Obama speechwriter, admitted in an op-ed that maybe, just maybe, snubbing your conservative relatives isn't the most effective political strategy. And how did the woke wing respond? By trying to cancel him for advocating basic human conversation. Apparently, nothing says, "We're the tolerant ones," like banishing someone for saying you shouldn't banish people.
Now, on the liberal side, there's two camps now. The "we need to keep talking to people" wing, and the "go no contact" wing. That's what they call it now, go no contact. This belief that Trump voters, even if it's your own parents, are too deplorable for human contact and must be cut off. Like Scientologists do to suppressive people. A former speechwriter for Obama named David Litt wrote an op-ed this year called "Is it time to stop snubbing your white right-wing family?" where he admitted he'd had a change of heart and that was the wrong approach. So, of course, then the woke wing tried to banish him for breaking ranks on their policy of hating people who don't agree with you on everything. Because what fun is life if you're not cutting somebody off?
The craziest part is that people genuinely believe this approach works. They think if they shame and lecture enough, eventually everyone will fall in line. Except, as Maher points out, that's not what happens. When you moralize and condemn people, you don't change their vote. You just guarantee they'll vote against you even harder next time. All this righteous banishing has accomplished exactly one thing, a second helping of MAGA. Which brings us back to Molly McEarney. She sent her relatives a 10 reasons ultimatum demanding they not vote for Trump. And when they didn't, she was shocked that a preachy, unsolicited essay didn't magically convert them. But, of course, it didn't. No one in the history of politics has ever received an emotional email and thou.
Berlin asked the question, what has all this banishing accomplished? Oh, I know. A second helping of MAGA, that's what. Molly McEarney, Jimmy Kimmel's wife and head writer, went public on this topic recently, so I feel it's fair to comment respectfully in public. She says she's lost relationships with relatives because she wrote them an email before the election with 10 reasons why they shouldn't vote for Trump. And some still didn't obey. So, 10 reasons. I can think of 100. But I would never present it to someone as an ultimatum. Ultimatums don't make people rethink their politics. They make them rethink you.
And Maher makes a brutal but honest point. Instead of giving your family a top 10 reasons you're wrong letter, maybe try writing yourself a top 10 reasons 77 million Americans didn't trust you with power list. That one stings because it's true. Democrats love to act like every election loss is proof that America is dumb, backward, hateful, or broken, anything except the possibility that their own arrogance is pushing people away.
Somewhere along the way, my values became code for I'm the only one with a moral compass. You know what would have been a better exercise? Write a top 10 list to yourself, where you try to imagine 10 reasons why 77 million Americans didn't want to trust you with taking power. And I say that as someone who votes Democratic, as I like to remind my very pure friends, we voted for the same person. You're just like we lost.
And this superiority complex is everywhere. It's not that liberals aren't allowed to disagree. It's that disagreement itself has become a moral failure. If you don't align with the exact ideology, every word, every phrase, every hashtag du jour, then suddenly you're dangerous, deplorable, and unworthy of human contact. It's like political purity testing on steroids. But here's the thing Maher understands better than most. Most people didn't choose their politics. They inherited them. It's geography, family, life experience, religion, and upbringing. You can't just lecture someone out of their worldview like you're updating software. And when Maher says, everyone's a monster until you talk to them, he's right. He had Marjorie Taylor Greene on his show, someone liberals treat like the boogeyman. And people actually messaged him saying, wow, I kind of liked her. Because when you talk to people instead of about them, they stop being caricatures.
Can we please try to remember, especially at this time of year, that most people don't decide their politics. They inherit them. It's about where you grew up in America, what your parents taught you, your life experiences, your religion. Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia was here recently, and I was amazed by the number of people who reached out after the show to say, wow, I kind of like her. Yeah, that's been my line for a while. Everyone's a monster till you talk to them.
Now, don't get it twisted. Maher isn't pretending conservatives don't have their own share of wild beliefs. He literally brings up aliens, demons, and fallen angels, and Marjorie Taylor Greene agreeing with them, as proof that there's no shortage of questionable ideas floating around on the right. But here's the difference. Conservatives might believe some out there things, but liberals believe their worldview is so morally superior that questioning it is practically blasphemy. And that makes them insufferable in ways conservatives just aren't.